New South Wales Police Commissioner Karen Webb broke that news today. She's under intense pressure right now over her leadership and her handling of the case. I spoke to her earlier. Police Commissioner, this is the breakthrough that everyone's been wanting, but it's just so sad, so heartbreaking. Very mixed emotions, no doubt, for the families of Luke and Jessie. How are they holding up tonight?
Well, I imagine it's another tough day for them. I understand that after police had secured the crime scene that the family were being transported to the Goulburn area. I imagine to be involved in the investigation and explained and shown the crime scene perhaps, but certainly investigators informed the family as soon as we became aware of where Luke and Jessie were. So a very sad day, and no doubt the day that they didn't want to come, but I'm sure, and I know speaking to their families over the weekend and yesterday, that they just wanted to know where they were, and now we know.
And you see the pictures of Jessie and Luke, both wonderful young men living their lives with such promise, and their friends now describing them as forever young. It's something that's hitting all of us.
It is. I think about young men in the prime of their lives, having the time of their lives. It's some of those pictures of them on social media and all the great things that they were doing and experiencing, and it's just awful and a tragedy.
It was the accused, Lamar Condon, who finally revealed where the bodies were. He'd been refusing to cooperate. Why did he decide to talk?
Well, that will be part of the brief that goes to court, so I probably can't explain that in any great detail, but I understand from detectives from Homicide Squad that he engaged a counsel today, and police went along and were able to get from him where the bodies were located, and so police went immediately to that scene. We were actually not far from the area because we'd already been searching a Bungonia area, and this premises is about 20 minutes away, I'm told, so police weren't that far away and were able to quickly identify where the bodies were.
And how are police officers feeling? Because it's hitting all of us hard, but the brutality of the alleged crime, I'm sure that police themselves, one of their own, they must be feeling this too.
Well, I mean, it's shocking really, and it's really hard to comprehend. But talking to the detectives, particularly those that are working around the clock on this, we all have a very heavy heart knowing that we've found the bodies, and that is closure for the families, but it's the reality that 2 young lives have been taken way too soon, and someone is now before the court charged with their murder.
Have any complaints ever been made by any of Lamar Condon's police colleagues in the past?
That will form part of the investigation. As a routine matter, we will always examine the circumstances that are immediately around the murder investigation, but we'll also go back. We'll go back to when he joined the police, anything that happened during his policing career, and we may even go back further than that. That would be standard in this type of investigation to really get an understanding of, how this could happen.
So you're not aware of any complaints made about him by officers or even by members of the public?
Oh, there may be, Deb, but it's certainly part of the investigation, and I really I don't want to compromise the court matter, and we'll just let that come out in the court matter.
You've also said that you hadn't watched the video of the accused tasering a man a few years ago. Have you found the time to watch that yet?
Yes, I did. I actually watched it this morning, and
it's very confronting, isn't it?
One that there was. Of course it is, and I do note that matter was investigated at the time, but it probably will form part of this whole investigation now again. So it would likely be reviewed by detectives.
It has been, as you say, an incredible effort by your officers, your detectives working tirelessly around the clock, multiple crime scenes, hundreds of kilometres apart, a multitude of leads from the public as well. They're to be congratulated for this incredible effort. But your critics have been asking, where have you been? Why did it take you 3 days to front up over an alleged double murder involving one of your own?
Yeah, well, Deb, as you point out, there's been a very active investigation, and it's only been today that we've located the bodies of Jesse and Luke. And the officer handed himself into police on Friday. He was only charged on Friday afternoon and went before court on Friday afternoon. And he only revealed today where those bodies are. This is about Luke and Jesse. And today we were able to tell their family where they are, and hopefully in the coming days and weeks we'll be able to tell them actually what happened. This will actually take time. We anticipate that the crime scene and the forensic examination of the bodies and the post-mortem examination will take some time to get the results. So we may not know for some time until we piece it all together. There is still volumes of material to work through, still a lot of material that people have called in about different crime scenes. There is a lot to piece together, and it might be some time before the family actually knows what went on.
But do you concede that with hindsight you should have spoken earlier, not stood behind your deputy at a press conference 3 days after the crime was revealed?
As I said, Deb, I was there to answer the questions. My deputies, I have a strong team of deputies. My deputy that spoke is the deputy in charge of criminal investigation. That's his area. The homicide squad reports to him. The great thing about being a commissioner is when you've got great people working for you, doing their job, and that's exactly what they expect them to do.
With all due respect though, part of your role as police commissioner is to also provide reassurance to not just families but to the entire community. But you stayed silent over the weekend. Where was the leadership?
I was actually at a LGBTIQ event on Saturday morning, and there was some media there. I provided a statement on Sunday, and I stood up on Monday. As I said, Deb, this is about Jesse and Luke and their families. I spoke to their families on Sunday and Monday. I called their families. They've flown up to Sydney. One's coming from Melbourne, the other down from Brisbane. They're in a city waiting for police to find the bodies of their relatives, their loved ones, and today we've done that. So a great sense of relief, and as you point out earlier, great work of the detectives and all the other police officers involved. We had divers in the dam down at Bungonia for 2 days and evenings. We've had pole air in the air. We've had a rescue squad out on the ground. We've had police doing line searches. We've thrown our resources at this to make sure that we got to the conclusion we got to today, and I'm very pleased with all the work that's been done, and I want to congratulate the police officers for all the work they've done.
And that's very deserved, the effort that they've put in. It's just incredible. But it's not the first time that your leadership has come into question. What do you say to your critics who say that you're not up to the top job?
As I said, Deb, I've got an organisation of 22,000 people to cover the whole state of New South Wales. I travel the state extensively. I'm in the different parts of this state talking to my officers. I can't be in 2 places at once, but I'm certainly doing the job. I've got a great team, and I'm here to do what is required. So thanks for asking.
And do you think it was appropriate to this morning reference Taylor Swift in answering those critics, saying the haters are going to hate? I mean, quoting a pop star when you're talking about the alleged murders of 2 young people, was that appropriate?
Oh, it was, a line, Deb. We've just had Taylor Swift in this city, and, it was Taylor fever here, but certainly my efforts have been on the investigation, and they remain so to support the police in the work that they do. So that's where the priority is. It's really about the families now.
And our hearts do break for them, but we're glad that there is some closure, at least for the loved ones of Jesse and Luke. Police Commissioner, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Deb.